Hello everybody and welcome to another lockdown yoga session. So today I thought I'd change things up a little bit, make a slightly shorter session, and we'll be primarily focusing on building our mental and physical resilience. So without further ado, we're going to start with a little meditation, just a little bit shorter than usual. And the main focus of this meditation is just to try to make our world that little bit smaller, a little bit more manageable. So we're going to get into a comfortable position on your mat, either sitting down, lying down, whatever works for you is fine. We're going to take about 5 rounds of increasingly slow and deep breath, starting in through the nose, out through the mouth. We're going to do that 4 more times. In nice and slow. Exhaling out all the stress, trying to lower your shoulders as you do that, just signaling to your body that it's time to relax. 3 more breaths, even slower, even deeper. One more, really slow inhale through the nose. Hold the breath. And out. Just coming back to that normal nasal breathing. We're slowly going to bring our awareness into the space, into the present moment. So in choosing to do this session, you're giving yourself this time frame just to be free of any expectations, any roles or pass or fail criteria. Just being in the present, just breathing and moving. Doesn't matter how balanced you are, how flexible. You're just breathing and moving. So shrinking down our awareness into the room, into the body. By bringing our awareness down to the things that we can actually influence, we're breaking down these larger scale problems that may be going on in our lives. Just eating the elephant, one bite at a time. So just focusing on anything that we can actually physically or directly affect. And bringing our attention in towards the breath. We're going to spend a little while just observing the breath. Trying to no longer be an active participant, so not trying to control, alter, or deepen the breath artificially, just allowing it to do its thing. And just seeing where the experience of the breath becomes more prominent. And if it helps at all, you can just try to attach a conscious marker to each breath, thinking to yourself in, or 1, or out, or 2, just whatever works for you. And it's not so much about the next breath that you're anticipating, or the past breath, just focusing on the breath that you're currently experiencing. Letting go of everything that came before it and everything that may be after it. Just experiencing the breath as it comes and goes. Alright, letting go of the breath, just arriving back in the space, preparing to practice. So in this brief moment between the meditation and the practice, you can set your intention for today's class, whether it be to build your mental and physical resilience through this practice and through this awareness, or whether you just want to focus on the breathing part or some other intention. Whichever intention calls out to you, that can be what you want it to be for today's class. And when we're all ready, we're going to lie back on the mat. I'm going to really focus on connecting the movement with the breath. So we're going to start with some leg raises, and you can either just do it strict with your legs straight like so, or if you want to focus more on the meditative aspect or your core isn't that strong, you can just focus on moving the knees up, and if you like, extending it up, or just keeping it in the knees. Anyway, when we're already lying back on the mat in our Shavasana, you can either have your hands by your head or by your side. It's really up to you. You're going to take a deep breath in to prepare, and on the exhale, we're going to lift up the legs, squeezing the core. Inhale, allowing it to come down. I'm just going to connect that with our own breath. Exhale, squeeze the core. Inhale, let it come down. So really focusing on keeping our lower back pressed into the mat here. We're not trying to let the other muscles take over too much, just in the core, in the stomach, with the stomach chakra associated strongly with our willpower, our ability to mobilize our energies towards our goals. Let's see if we can get 5 more squeezes out of this. 1. 2. 3. Halfway there. 4. And 5. Inhale, let it come back down to the mat. Take a little round of breath here to rest in between the exercises. And when we're ready, we can bring our heels just about touching our fingertips. So we're going to use this as our base for the bridge or the hip raises here. We're just going to strengthen posterior chain, our glutes, and a bit of our thighs as well. So you keep your hands by your side for this. And this time we're inhaling as we come up because it's more of an extending motion here. We're kicking out the legs almost. We're squeezing the glutes and opening up the body, which is why it's associated with that inhaling movement rather than the exhale for the seeming lifting of the leg raise. Anyway, without further ado, you can take a deep breath in, lifting up the hips as far as you can go. You can also try to almost kick your feet out towards the other end of the mat to help you get that a little bit higher. Exhale, lowering down. Inhale, up. So kicking and squeezing. Let's see if we can make it to 10. just in time with your own breath. And I think that's 5. And 8. 9. And finally 10. We're going to hold, just breathing your own time. And letting go, coming back down onto the mat. Just going to spend a couple of breaths, just taking a breather in between poses. And when you're ready on your next exhale, we're going to bring our knees in towards our chest for the wind releasing pose. And we can use the momentum of our legs just to rock ourselves up and down along the mat, giving ourselves a gentle back massage until the momentum brings us onto all fours. So normally I like to do a couple of cat-cows to warm up with the spine, but we're going to go a slightly more intensive route and just do a couple of rounds of the classical sun salutation, get into a nice little flow and warm up the body. So from our cross-legged position, we're going to roll over into the tabletop, all fours here, just checking that our hands are below the shoulders, our knees below the hips. So you can take a breath in, point the toes towards the ground, exhale, coming back into your downward facing dog. So you're bringing your heart in towards the mat, in towards the knees and the feet. So first we're going to take a couple of breaths here just to walk the dog, loosen up the hamstrings. We're going to walk our feet towards the hands here, into our Uttanasana, our standing forward fold. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, coming into our Tadasana. So as always, bringing our feet together at the front of the mat. You can lift the toes here just to grasp the mat to all the corners of the feet. Lengthening your tailbone down towards the mat. Shoulders back into your Tadasana. So at the front of our mat, find our balance here, experiencing the weight distribution between the feet here. Inhale, reach up and back. Exhale, down to the toes. Inhale, left foot back into your low lunge, reaching up. Exhale, hands to the front of the mat. Hold the breath, knees, chest, chin, and coming up into your cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward, coming once again into your lunge. Exhale, hands to the front of the mat, right foot forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, reaching up and back, and Tadasana. Taking a round of breath in between here. Next, inhale, reaching up. Exhale, down. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, hands to the front of the mat, right foot back. Hold the breath, knees, chest, chin. Inhale into your cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, always leading with the left foot for the classical variation. Exhale, hands to the front of the mat, right foot forward. Inhale up, exhale, Tadasana. We've got 3 more left of these. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, down. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, hold the breath. Knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra, loosening up the core here. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, up. Exhale, Tadasana. It's about 2 more left now. Inhale, up. Exhale, down. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, down. Hold the breath. Inhale, up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, hands down, right foot forward. Inhale up, and Tadasana. This is our final one. Really try and focus on connecting the movement to the breath. If you're struggling with just the physical rhythm of it, then don't focus too much on the breath, but that's just a little aspirational element to the practice. Okay, preparing for our last round. Find your Tadasana. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, down. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, hands forward into your plank, holding the breath. Inhale, in your cobra, letting your shoulders come away from the ears. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, leading with the left foot. And exhale, hands either side. Right foot forward. Inhale, up and back. Exhale, Tadasana. So hopefully we should be feeling nice and warm by now. So now we're going to do a little bit of a warrior sequence involving some twists, some extended side angles, and hopefully that's going to loosen up the upper body, both in the core and in the sides. So we're still standing in Tadasana at the front of the mat. We can inhale up, exhale down into our Uttanasana, standing forward fold. We can inhale into our halfway lift, so make a nice little L shape out of the body. Exhale, hands down and walk or hop into your plank. Lower yourself down, Chaturanga. Then this time we're pushing down with our feet as we inhale up into an upward facing dog. So we're lifting off the legs from the mat if your back flexibility allows it. Exhale, downward facing dog. Alrighty, so we're going to spend a couple of breaths in here, just slowly adjusting the posture. So you can rotate your shoulders externally by bringing the elbows down and in, keeping them nice and straight. Next step, inhale, right foot up into your three-legged dog. Exhale, bring it forward, ground that back foot at about 90 degrees or so. Allow your hips to rotate out into a nice neutral position. So rather than having the hips pointing towards the front of the mat, we're now in a neutral position here. And hands at either side into our warrior two. So we're staring down that front finger. Just checking that the two arms are in line with one another. Your shoulders are back and down. And your upper body in general is in line with the hips. Deep breath in, bracing yourself. Exhale, we're going to bring that left arm over, down and around to the outside of our right foot, if you're flexible enough. If not, you can just rest your arm like that and still try to get some of the twist. But just listening to your body here, whichever version works for you. Couple more breaths. And inhale up, all the way back into your warrior two. All right, taking another breath in to prepare. Exhale, bring your right hand to the inside of your right foot, reaching up with your left. If you like to extend the stretch, you can just reach over as well, coming more into this extended side angle. Just always staring at that raised hand. Okay, next inhale, pushing back up into your warrior two. Extending both legs, you've got straight legs now. Hands out to either side. And as you exhale, folding over towards that front foot, reaching up with the left as you come into your Trikonasana or your pyramid pose. So rather than focusing on reaching here with your right hand, I'd like you just to focus on stretching up more with the left. And hopefully I get you to rest less weight on that leg. Just being careful not to let your hips fold over this way just to get a bit more reach. Rather stop a little bit higher up in the posture, just so you can maintain that proper form. All right, next, exhale, bringing both hands to the outside of that right foot. Taking a round of breath here in this sort of lunge. And next, exhale, right foot back into your downward facing dog. Just taking a couple of breaths in this posture. Inhale, left foot up this time, three-legged dog. Exhale, swinging it forward. Grounding those feet, checking that your heels are in line with one another. Next, inhale, coming up into your warrior two. So once again, checking that the hips are neutral, legs out either side. Got a nice distance between the two. Just checking you can still see your toes over your knee. Right, deep breath in, bracing into the posture. Exhale, you can either rest your right elbow on that left leg, or you can try to extend down towards the ground, reaching up with your left arm. If you can't quite reach with your back heel grounded, you can try to go into a sort of high lunge with that heel coming off the ground, if that helps at all. Anyway, next inhale, coming up into your warrior two, spending a couple more breaths in that posture. Okay, breath in to prepare. Next exhale, folding down, either resting your left elbow on the left leg or letting that left hand come in on the inside of the left leg. If you like, reaching over, trying to feel a bit more of that stretch in the right side of your upper body, but always focusing on rotating that right shoulder back to open up the chest. Okay, inhale, coming up and extending both legs. You can close up the posture a little bit if that helps. Once again, breathing in to prepare, shoulders back. Exhale, folding over to the left this time. Really focusing on reaching up with the right. Once again, if you feel that hip rotating inwards, just to get a little bit more reach, just stop a little bit higher in the posture, just to prevent that from happening. Hopefully you should be getting a nice stretch on the right side of your body. Deep breath in, exhale, hands to the front of the mat, left foot back into your downward facing dog. Spending a couple of breaths just recovering in the posture. So not taking too many long rests here, just to reduce the length of the practice. Okay, from our downward facing dog, we're going to bring our knees down to the mat, come into all fours. And we're going to do a little bit of a plank sequence here. So depending on how your wrists are feeling, you can either try to rest on your forearms here, or if your arms are alright, you can rest like this with an extended arm here. And for the side planks, if your balance isn't quite there, but you still want to participate in that sequence, you can always pop down a knee as well to give yourself a bit more balance support. So those are some of the modifications you can do just to help yourself through this practice. So from our all fours here, point our toes to the ground, inhale, extend up into a regular plank. So we're going to try to always be in some form of plank in between the different postures. So now we're going to switch over to having our left hand in the middle of the mat and reaching up with the right. So you can either stay like this, or like I said earlier, with your forearms on the ground. And as you inhale, you can reach up, exhale, reaching through, just adding a little bit more challenge to the posture in time with your own breath. Let's do one more round. And bring your hands back down into a regular plank. You can shake out that supporting arm if you want. Just trying to keep our bums down here so that our shoulders are in line with our heels. Right, switching over to the right side this time. So either you can stop here, you can have your knee balanced here to create a bit of support, or you can continue to then incorporating the breath. So exhale, down and through. Inhale, opening up. So we can do about 5 of these if you're taking part in them. Really opening up the upper body on the inhale. And coming down into a regular plank, allowing your knees to come to the ground. And from there we're going to briefly go into a child's pose. So about 3 more breaths in the child's posture. And when we're ready, coming into all fours, sitting back through into a cross-legged posture, like in the middle of your mat. So with a lot of the other core postures here, we're going to go, you can have a variety of options to choose from depending on your skill level. So we're going to try to be holding the boat pose here for a couple of rounds. You can either grab on to your legs with your legs flat like this, if that helps you through the posture, or you can progress to letting go and raising your legs up, just whichever one works for you. You can even keep your feet down here and just lean back. It's really up to what your body would prefer for this sequence. So when we're all ready, we can have our legs stretch out in front of us, preparing ourselves for this posture. Deep breath in and hold. If you like, you can start to activate your Ujjayi breath here to help you through the posture, that ocean breath. When you slightly cut off the airflow and just make that rushing sound. chest here. 10 more seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lying back on the mat just for a couple of breaths. We can do one more of these, then we're going to do some twists, and there's a little tree after that. Alright, once you're ready, deep breath in to prepare, and exhale, squeeze yourself up into your preferred version, whether it be holding, or placing your feet, or going straight into the full posture. So we're going to try to go for 10 breaths here. Each full inhale and exhale. In time with your own breath. Not much longer. Eight, 9, and 10. Lying back just for a little bit. And when you're ready, you can use your arms here just to push yourself into a cross-legged position on your mat. Again, from here, we're going to rest our right leg on the outside of our left leg. Reach over with your elbow just to ground yourself here. Deep breath in, prepare the upper body, shoulders back, and exhale, reaching back, giving yourself a nice little twist here. Just relaxing all the muscles along the spine, giving your organs a little squeeze. You're looking back behind you. So with each inhale, you're bracing yourself against the stretch. And with each exhale, you're trying to get that little bit deeper through the relaxation of the exhale. And letting go. Right, swapping over to the other side, so bracing your left foot to the outside of your right leg. Reaching over with your elbow, deep breath in, shoulders back. Exhale, reaching around and back, twisting the spine in the other direction. Just want to give ourselves a nice amount of time in the posture, just to allow the muscles to adapt to what we're asking of them. And letting go. So I believe that this posture that we're about to do is probably one of the nicest ways to test your resolve, also to strengthen the upper body. Alright, so you can either go into your easy pose, or you can go into your hero pose here, sitting back on your heels and on top of the knees. So what these postures can involve is on the inhale, we're going to reach up and out to the side and raise your hands up towards the ceiling. So you can drop out and come back as often as you want, but preferably you'll try to hold it the entire way through, or as long as you can. And I believe the more you put into this posture, or like with any other practice, the more you will eventually get out of it. So bring our shoulders back, opening up the chest, allowing the shoulders to drift down, releasing the traps here. Trying to hold as little tension in the upper body as possible. So you'll be glad to know that we won't be using our arms for the rest of the practice after this. Once again, you can just use your eye breath just to breathe through the posture. So this is almost like an intense form of physical meditation as you're focusing on the breath rather than the burning in the shoulders and the arms. Allowing your attention to go where you want it to go. Feeling that burn, seeing if you can lower your shoulders a little bit more. Opening up the palms to the world. Alright, not much longer now. You can do it. Just bring your attention towards the breath. And when you're ready, next exhale, letting go. So it turns out carpets aren't the ideal surface for yoga practice. Alright, so now that you have no arms, you can maneuver your way into a lunge. You can start with the right foot, allowing your arms to hang by your side, leaning back a little bit, bringing your hips down and forward, releasing the hips here, the upper thighs, the psoas, which is really great if you're doing a lot of sitting or cycling or rowing. Alright, when you're ready, bringing that right knee back and swapping over to the left. Okay, when you're ready, you're going to try to extend both legs here and come into a nice wide legged stance. And from here, we're going to inhale, try to bring our shoulders back, straighten the upper body. Exhale, leading with the heart. You can just allow your arms to hang loose as you try to facilitate the stretch just with the upper body. So this is a great little gentle stretch of the hamstrings towards the end of the posture. Sorry, towards the end of the practice. coming all the way up. We're going to bring our feet together at the front of the mat. Deep breath in, brace the upper body, allow yourself to sit down into the chair and then down onto the floor. Going to widen up the legs again, just however far you're comfortable. Inhale, grounding the hips, and exhaling, folding forward, giving yourself a nice stretch along the inner thighs here as well as we finish off. And like promised, your arms can just be limp by your side, giving them a nice little break at the end of this practice. So you're really trying to lead with the heart here, keeping a nice straight spine, or as straight as possible. And just fold at the hips here. Okay, coming all the way up. Lying back onto your mat, allowing your mind to go blank, thoughts to leave your head, your breath to become shallow. If you like, you can switch the lights off in whatever room you're in and just melt into your mat for Shavasana, for the corpse pose. And when you're ready, slowly reintroducing the breath to the body, arriving back in the space, in the body. Just taking your own time, allowing thoughts to come back into the head. And slowly wiggle your fingers, your toes, and gradually, when you're ready, working your way into a cross-legged position at the front of the mat, just whichever method you prefer. Just taking it easy now. And just before we end this practice, I'd like to thank you all for making the time today to come to the mat, to deepen your practice. And I hope that you all stay well. Namaste.